بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي شمة بنت سهيل المزروعي وزير الدولة لشؤون الشباب، اخواني واخواتي خريجين برنامج الاقتصاديين الشباب، يشرفني اليوم ونحن نحتفل بتخريج الدفعة الاولى من برنامج الاقتصاديين الشباب اللي نظمتها المؤسسة الاتحادية للشباب تحت رعاية كريمة من سمو الشيخ حمدان بن محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم ولي عهد دبي رئيس المجلس التنفيذي في إمارة دبي. نحتفل اليوم وياكم بظروف استثنائية. كان ودنا أن نجتمع وياكم، نلتقي وياكم ونخرجكم بحفل فعلي في مكان نجتمع فيه كلنا، ولكن الظروف الاستثنائية هذه تحكم علينا أن نجتمع افتراضيا. اليوم إذا نرمش عن الظروف الاستثنائية، خلقت لنا قادة استثنائيين، واليوم تشرفنا معالي شمة اللي نحن نعتبرها في المؤسسة الاتحادية للشباب قائد استثنائي لنا في المؤسسة. ننتقل لك معاليك لكلمة للخريجين.
مشكور أخوي، ما تقصر. والله سعيد إني أشوفكم كلكم، يمكن اليوم فيرتشوالي، بس إن شاء الله بنتلاقى قريب، والله إن شاء الله يزول هذا البلاء اللي في العالم إن شاء الله. أولاً السلام عليكم أخواني وأخواتي، شرف كبير إني أتواجد اليوم بينكم، بين كفاءات اقتصادية إماراتية نوعية بتواصل إن شاء الله مسيرة تنمية بلادنا بإذن الله. برنامج الاقتصاديين شباب أقدر أقول إنه من أهم المبادرات اللي تحققت السنة الماضية وكملت هالسنة، لأن هالبرنامج فعلاً يلامس حاجة وفجوة عميقة موجودة في مجتمعنا، واللي يمس بشكل مباشر وغير مباشر كافة جوانب حياتنا. ببدأ أولاً وبشكر سمو الشيخ حمدان بن محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم ولي عهد دبي رئيس المجلس التنفيذي على رعايته ودعم هذه المبادرة اللي تعتبر صراحة خطوة مهمة من شأنها تغيير شكل الاحتراف في مجال الاقتصاد، ليصبح هذا البرنامج الأول من نوعه في تأهيل جيل جديد من الكوادر في مجال محوري. سموه دائما يحفزنا على خلق بيئة اقتصادية واعدة ويدعمنا عشان نخلق استراتيجيات محفزة للشباب. وطبعا ما ننسى نشكر شركائنا الاستراتيجيين في هالمبادرة وفريق عمل اشتغلوا وسهروا وعملوا بجد عشان نوصل لبرنامج بهذا المستوى، وإن شاء الله كل سنة بنحسن منه. وأبغي أذكر يمكن الفريق بالاسم لو تخلوني إخواني وأخواتي، لأن فعلا أثبتوا للجميع أن رهانهم الحقيقي هو عليكم وعلى الشباب، وأبغي أقول لهم بإذن الله رهانهم هذا ما بيخسر أبداً، وبدعمهم إن شاء الله بنرسخ مكانة دولتنا كنموذج عالمي في مجال تمكين الشباب. بداية أخوي سعادة سعيد، أخوي طارق عويدات، أخوي أيوب العلي، نور مريا، عاشر يوسف، محمد الحمادي، فرح ريس، راشد الشامسي، صادق جرار، وفاء العلي، فاطمة راوي، مهل عبيدلي. اخواني واخواتي سفرائنا اليوم يعني في الاقتصاد وخريجي اول دفعه من هالبرنامج، انا فخوره جدا بكم وبكل اللي تقدمونه لبلادنا خلال الاعوام ان شاء الله الجايه، وان شاء الله هاي تكون بدايه لعطاء عظيم لدوله عظيمه. واسمحوا لي بكمل كلمتي بالانجليزي لان عندي فكره ابغي اوصلها. نعرف يمكن the program would be impossible without our federal or local international private sector partners. So I want to thank over 60 partners from over 20 entities who played essential role in this program's genesis, from interviewing applicants to training facilitators to mentoring, advising students. Today's graduation reflects, I believe, a starting gate, not a finish line. The goal of your postgraduate journey is not to come up with a brilliant blueprint that is guaranteed to take you all the way to the finish line. The goal of your exit from the starting gate today is simpler, more human, more exciting. It is to come up with a plan that will get you out of the starting gate. Just as no one can predict the market, no one has that perfect degree of perfect precision in long-term planning. Well, COVID reminds us this. There are so many variables and surprises along the way that will require adjustments to the plan. Today, اليوم, your graduation is about starting with a plan. But the plan that you start with as young leaders will not be the plan that gets you to where you want. Your plan, I believe, is to become better seers and responders to the wide world around you. And the plan is to become wise in vision, but also wise in action. Well, I want to tell you a quick story to illustrate this. I read a story in the weekend about two young fish. It's an interesting metaphor. There's these two young fish swimming along, and they happen to meet another fish coming in the other way, in the ocean. And the other fish nods at them. We go home, and he tells the two fish, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" The two young fish swim on for a bit, and then eventually one of them looks at the other. I'm talking about the two fish. Look over and goes, "What the hell is water?" Bear with me, and I'll tell you why this is important. This was David Foster Wallace's 2005 commencement speech to the graduating class at a university in America. And it is a timeless trove of wisdom, and his speech was made into a thin book called This Is Water, the book I read. It's called This Is Water, Some Thoughts Delivered on a Significant Occasion About Living in a Compassionate Life. Why is this important? Wallace's insight is so deeply in line with the power of economics with iqtisad and with the doorway at which you stand today graduating. And allow me to explain. First, I want to invite you to think about fish and water and to suspend, or just a few minutes, your skepticism about the obvious simplicity of this message. Shamma, why do I care about two fish and water? Because doing so, by the way, is kind of the point. Wallace reminds us that we often forget or take for granted the most obvious things around us. And two fish were together. Another fish came to them and asked them, "How's the water?" The two fish forgot that they were even swimming around water. What Wallace teaches us, basically, that we often forget or take for granted the most obvious things around us. And he acknowledges it's difficult to stay aware of what's happening in the world around us because we are so busy, kilna, dealing with the monologue inside our heads or the dialogue between our closest friends and family or colleagues. And that is what an education is all about. It is learning to look beyond our own limited perspective, our own group, and exercising some degree of control over our thoughts. And we can choose what to pay attention to. And that was the point of the Young Economist program. To let you pull you out if you were a student, pull you out if you were an employee, to just focus on economics. And this is the power of economics. It casts our view beyond our day, tells us to look at the macro picture for all humans and the systems we operate in. Economics is everything. Our lives, our markets, our work, our infrastructure, our geopolitical relationships are all intrinsically linked by economic issues. Economics is a discipline which combines politics, sociology, psychology, history. It is everything and everywhere. Rarely do we listen to a news program on the radio or watch news on the TV that doesn't have a significant economic content. And very often we don't even realize this. And this is the power of this program that you do now. Three things. It's here for you to discover a broader field of vision. And within that field, you discover what you love about economics. Two, it's here for you to discover how economics can support you to pursue progress in that space, and where your gift, your unique gift, lie to serve it. Three, it is here for you to provide a wider lens through which you see all things. You are not who you are when you started this Hallmark program. You are now the fish who can now see the water. And that's maybe the metaphor I was trying to send across. Here is why this is so important in the 21st century. Our thoughts affect our realities, and the ability to choose how you construct meaning from experience will determine the lens from which you see the world and how you react in return. Our thoughts become our actions, and the broader you see, the more broadly you can act. Wisdom acquisition, is our moral duty. It is not just something you do to advance yourself in life. I'll add to that. Acquiring wisdom is our gift to humanity, to our communities, to our families, to ourselves, but also to our nation. Acquiring wisdom in the field that we love to you guys, it's economics is a moral duty, because it's not only through continuous learning that we can add to دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة achievements. Continuous learning is what we need to do to go forward and soar in the next 50 years of this nation. And I want to take an example of Berkshire Hathaway, who may have been maybe the best long-term investment, or who has the long-term best investment record in the history of civilization. I'm sure you know Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. The skill that got Berkshire Hathaway through one decade would not get through another decade without Warren Buffett. Why? Without him being a continuous learning machine. Continuous learning acquires true wisdom. The vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway says, I constantly see people rise in life who are not the smartest, not the most diligent, but they are learning machines. They go to bed a little wiser than they were when they got up in the morning. And boy, does that habit help you when you have a long run ahead of you. Let me maybe step back and move from my metaphor, move maybe from these examples of being a continuous learning machine. I want to go to the program and the achievements of this program. The launch of the UAE's first Young Economist program was a success in its first chapter. You all have been handpicked from over 650 applications in an extremely competitive selection process. Over a span of 3 months, in the fourth quarter of 2020, the program assisted you, first of all, and hosted you for 80 sessions spread across 44 program days, 120 hours of workshops, trainings, 8 site visits, meetings with 25 national and global leaders in the private and public spheres. With an average of 27.5 years, and over half of you have 5 years of work experience, and all of you with a diverse set of job titles that we hope will go on to work as economists or with economic-minded thinking in leading positions in the country and global entities. Your class brought entrepreneurs, financial analysts, economic researchers, investment advisors, economic experts, heads of sections, directors, top performing students. There's so much I can talk about statistics. Over a third of you have master's degrees, 4 of you have PhDs, 60% of you have completed their education in top universities outside the UAE. I want to share with you and the world and the UAE what you've achieved. You've completed core capstone projects in 10 groups of 5 to work on 10 real case studies with modern international public policy implications. You expanded your economics knowledge, became stronger team players, and strengthened hard and soft skills for building a position. These case studies were not, Kwani Khawati, a simple classroom experience. They have reached UAE decision makers. And I'll give you an example. His Excellency Abdullah bin Togh has carried forward an idea and report to develop an alternative index to GDP that was raised in a program Q&A session with him. And I can assure you the same thing happened with all of your 10 case studies, which are now being reviewed by decision makers, and they will be very valuable resources to advance the UAE's economy. Case study recommendations were so many, and I remember them by heart. That's how much I love this program. One was measuring economic output and national income, alternative methodologies to traditional macroeconomic metrics. Crisis management was another, based on scenarios within macroeconomic public policy context. Bilateral, the third case study, and multilateral trade and finance diplomacy, which received a top score. Thank you very much for offering a dynamic blueprint for future economic and public cooperation based on mutual strategic interests. I love how you guys focused on a partnership between UAE and China as part of an artificial intelligence city. The most interesting of this far-reaching proposal was the creation of a vibrant new technology ecosystem for the Dawla in the UAE. The fourth was industrial policy formation for export growth and diversification. One of them was also government revenue analysis, assessment of the implementation of a corporate income tax in the country. There's one on public expenditure review and fiscal measures to reduce expenditure. Well done, because it was an extensive public finance review of the UAE's federal spending during the last 5 years, and your proposal on cost-cutting measures was phenomenal. One was on debt management through local and international capital markets. It also received a top score. Interesting new mechanism to lower overall borrowing costs of each emirate through processing the establishment of a dirham denominated permanent fund. And your recommendation, by the way, of expanding the mandate of the Emirates Development Bank to be able to issue federal bonds was amazing. I can't wait till معالي inshallah عبيد الطاير also has a look at it. The UAE case study on Islamic finance competitiveness was very interesting. Solidifying corporate governance structures was also one. The last one, if I didn't forget, was raising the UAE's ranking in the world, the World Doing Business report. I know I said this fast, I'm a fast speaker. Our ultimate aim was to prepare young economists to work in leading positions in their entities and serve in the UAE economy as bankers, as political economists, investment advisors, statisticians, economic researchers, and leaders. We hope that you see this program, first of all, as an asset, and we're here to serve you and continue to serve you as alumni. But I hope that this program, I really do, made you see the water that I started with my metaphor. It made you understand your economic role in the bigger scheme of things and equipped you with the vision you must have to succeed as economists. I want to close and say the Young Economist program for you is just the beginning, a gateway into a lifetime library, and I mean it when I say library, of learning about how the world works and what will be your contribution to this library. This is your life pursuit, to pursue and discover those contributions. And they may surprise you. You may start with one question and discover, as citizens of the 21st century, you will be tasked not only with learning the skills of the traditional economy, you will be charged with the mandate to operate and perpetuate the solutions that solve our world's greatest challenges. Climate change, injustice and inequality, future of work, healthcare, education, sustainable global health. Very often in our quest for success and survival, we pursue growth that bolsters tangible economic, political, or public perception metrics. And today, I want to talk about maybe one new thing that I feel like Dawlat Imarat stands out uniquely. The normal metrics of economics can bring some remarkable outcomes to society, and many of those we share in the nation: the world's tallest building, the world's best roads infrastructure, the glorious man-made islands. However, the true measure of a man is defined by the broader economy, the meaning economy. And I believe the UAE is in this path. And the meaning economy contains the elements that not only create the infrastructure of life, they are the elements that make life worth living. I want to emphasize that every one of you here can be change agents for the values that make us human, that make our lives have meaning, have purpose, have joy, inclusion, peace, hope, love. And it starts with being aware that how we behave today shapes tomorrow. If we, as fish, choose to see the water, we live in the age of a meaning economy. And I'll tell you what do I mean by this, where the models are driven by a bottom line of purpose, where the intangibles that uplift the human spirit and empower everyone to their fullest potential, where the measure of man is by what he gives rather than what he gets. Let me compare the meaning economy to a market economy. We're all used to a market economy where we often focus on responding to what makes us profit economically, politically, profit publicly, above what makes us human, above communities, above families, above values, above empathy, above generosity. But COVID taught us differently, and Dawlat Imarat taught us differently. It taught us about the meaning economies of going beyond brand, going beyond business, and assuming key metrics of impact. And the impact metrics here is not, I'm not saying profit is not important, or economic or political kind of public profits are not important, they are. But the key metrics of this meaning economy that we see for Dawlat Imarat are lives bettered, communities strengthened, opportunities attained and sustained, and prosperity gained where it once didn't exist. And the motto of this meaning economy is found in a timeless wisdom of Dixon Jacob. He said, mankind is our business. If mankind, is our business, then now is the time that every entity, would be wise to join this market economy. Even governments, even businesses, even civic organizations. This is your charge, to go forth in the world and become leaders and contributors of the sectors of society that make our lives work. The ocean is bigger than ever, and the UAE leadership has your back and your interest to provide you with the resources to become what our world most needs you to become. The last question I want to leave you with is, as you leave the starting gate, is where to next and in what direction? In a constantly, rapidly changing world like ours, change is constant, and we can't, and you can't remain the same as you were yesterday. You are in motion and you have no choice about that. But the question is, motion in what direction? You have a total choice about this. The program is preparing you in one way. So celebrate today and go forward and learn all you can. Stay focused, question more, dig deeper. These are advices I use myself. Open wider, let us dream big, pursue hard, discover greatly, and share your findings. And I know I speak of all our leadership when I say I'm so proud of you, excited for you. What a gift to our nation that you and your young budding economist peers will kick off our golden jubilee. The life we live in 50 years will depend on where you go forward today. I'm counting on you and cheering on you, our young economist class of 2021. Thank you very much. شكرا.
مشكورة معاليك. نحن باسمي أنا وباسم فريق العمل والإخوان في برنامج الاقتصاديين الشباب حابين نشكرك ونشكر سعادة السعيد على دعمكم لنا طول الفترة هذه. معاليك، أول تحدي كان عندنا في استقطاب مواهب شابة في مجال الاقتصاد. اليوم نفتخر في 51 شاب وشابة في مجال الاقتصاد. تحديات كثيرة عند الشباب. خلال 3 شهور مسؤوليات كثيرة كانت عليهم. اسمحوا لي أنتقل الخريجين يلقيها أخونا نهيان ضاحي. تفضل نهيان.
معالي شمع المزروعي، سعادة سعيد النظري بالنيابة عن إخواني وأخواتي خريجين الدورة الأولى من برنامج الاقتصاديين الشباب. أحب أشكر جهودكم وجهود الفريق والقيادة على هذا البرنامج الاصطناعي الأول من نوعه اللي فادنا من نواحي كثيرة. أنجح البرنامج أن تعرفنا على المواهب الشابة في الدولة وفي المجال الاقتصادي، وتواصلنا مع صناع القرار بالكثير من الأفكار، واشتغلنا على دراسات القيادة اللي تساهم في تقدم اقتصاد الدولة في رؤيتها العام 2071. مرينا خلال البرنامج على كثير من المواقف اللي فادتنا، مثل دراسة شاملة لزيادة تنافسية دولة الإمارات في المنطقة والعام. تسليمها كان في 48 ساعة، كان تحدي مش بسيط. عملنا حلقات حوارية بيننا وبين بعض، اجتمعنا بشكل غير رسمي، ولا زال التواصل في نقاشاتنا مستمر في المواضيع الكثيرة حتى بعد انتهاء البرنامج، واللي أشوفه نادر يصير في مجموعات المهنية، واللي يدل على أن تقارب الأفكار وقوة العلاقات بين الخريجين اللي بدون بإذن الله للدفعات القادمة. بلقي الجزء الثاني من الكلمة بالإنجليزي على أساس المجتمع الدولي. As Your Excellency mentioned, we worked with the leadership and had exposure to most pressing matters, which we worked alongside key economists that assist in solidifying diversified economy and improving the waters around us, in order to reach the oceans beyond. My fellow graduates will continue to discuss and learn and acquire knowledge and connections to consistently improve economic policies not only in the UAE for the next 50 years, but the world, because the outreach of the program is from its partnerships is truly global. The youth are prepared to serve the UAE and the international community, and we wish the future graduates to continue to raise the bar and assist in creating a tangible global impact to shape the of the world for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
شكرا نهيان. وبالنيابة عن اخواننا كلنا نبارك لك مع عرسنا، ان شاء الله نشوف ذريتك الصالحة باذن الله تعالى.
الله يبارك فيك.
على مدى 3 شهور قدموا اكثر من 20 شريك جهود يشكرون عليها. بنستعرض لكم فيديو يوضح مقتطفات من البرنامج. ننتقل الحين للحظة اللي الجميع ينتظرها. ننتقل لتخريج المشاركين في البرنامج. عبد الله عيسى المله، عبد الله حياب الكتبي، عبد الله محمد العامري، عبد الله ناصر المنصوري.
عادي اطلب طلب سوري عادي. اذا كلكم على زوم سامحوني، شفتوا الرياكشن الايموجي؟ الوزيرة نور علمتني عليه. she's way cooler with you. بس اذا حد منكم كان كليك on any emotion بس عشان نشوف يوم يقولون اسمكم نقدر نعرف we can put a face to the picture. اذا مشكورين اذا حبيتوا.
مشكورة معاليك. عبد الله ناصر المنصوري، عبد الله راشد المهيري، عبد الله صلاح خوري، عبد الله يوسف الحمادي، أحمد سعيد النقبي، عاشة سعيد السوقي، علي ناصر لوتا، أمل أحمد الصاروخ، بطي ناصر الشامسي، إسراء طارق المطوع، فاطمة داود الحمادي، حمد علي الماجدي، حمدة محمود الزرعوني، حمدان حمد العامري، هدى يوسف آل علي، حميد عبد الله كنجي، إيمان إبراهيم ستادي، جاسم يحيى المرزوقي، جواهر عبيد آل علي، خالد جمعة بالهول، خليفة النيادي، مهند علي الصباحي، ماجد سعيد عبد الغفار، منصور علي الصباحي، منصور نبيل عبد الغفار، مريم محمد الهاشمي، محمد عبد الله الهاشمي، محمد خليفة الرميثي، محمد عمر الجعيدي، محمد طارق المطوع، محمد يونس الخوري، محمد شهاب الزرعوني، محمد جعفر سبت، محمد سلطان جناحي، نواف عبد الله الرئيسي، نهيان محمد الظاهري، نجود فيصل نجد، قيس بدر السويدي، رفيق كمال جعرور، راشد عتيج المري، سعيد عبد الله أهلي، سعيد خلمرة، سنة حسين المرزوقي، الشيخ عبد العزيز النعيمي، شمسة علي العلي، وديمة محمد الخوري، يوسف يعقوب المنصوري. نبارك لكم جميعا. استأذنكم الحين الجميع يفتح الكاميرا لالتقاط الصورة الجماعية. أبارك لكم مرة ثانية ونتمنى لكم كل التوفيق. الإمارات تبقى أرض الفرص، ونحن في المؤسسة الاتحادية للشباب جاهزين وحاضرين لأي حابين. نتمنى لكم التوفيق. مشكورين جميعا. مشكورة معاليك ومشكور سعادتك.
مشكورين اخواني واخواتي، الله يعطيكم الصحة والعافية ومبروكين، والمعذرة إذا قصرنا في شيء، نحن في خدمتكم، وإن شاء الله بنسمع منكم أكثر كيف نقدر نحسنه، وإن شاء الله الدورة الثانية بإذن الله، وإن شاء الله بنكون معاكم ندعمكم.